Welcome to African Information Network. I am Dr. Michael Umunna, and this is Focal Point Africa. Today, I'll be talking about updates on the COVID-19 travel requirements to Nigeria. The last time we discussed this topic, we just talked about the requirements then. But since that discussion, there has been updates and there's need for you to be aware of the necessary information that will help you go through travel to Nigeria without any kind of problems. For purposes of clarity, I'm going to try to go through these steps one at a time. The first one is you are still required to take the COVID test 72 hours prior to boarding a flight to Nigeria. So it means that you have to take that test, you have to test negative, and when you have tested negative, the second process is that you have to go to the portal, the travel portal of the Nigerian Center for Disease Control and upload your test. All right? Now, in the past, you had two options when it gets to where you have to make a payment. The first option is you could get a temporary QR code. QR stands for quick response. That is to say, when they take that code and scan it somewhere, they will be able to authenticate the legitimacy of your stand to ensure that you either made a payment or you did not make a payment. So in the past, you had two options. You could either pay right away and get a receipt with a barcode that shows that you have paid, or you may get a temporary QR code, which means you get the code but it does not give you a receipt. It means that you've not paid. You can pay for that test when you arrive at the center where you are supposed to test in Nigeria on the 8th day. Okay. Now the third thing is that when you get to Nigeria, you are still supposed to test on the 8th day after arrival. Without you getting a receipt that shows that you have paid and a barcode that authenticates that payment, you will not be allowed to fly to Nigeria. I repeat that, very, very important. If you get a QR code that is temporary, it means you did not pay. You have to get a QR code that is permanent. And what makes it permanent is the payment that you made. So, if you get that code, you can fly. But if you do not get a permanent QR code, you will not be allowed to fly. Okay, so now fast forward. You get to Nigeria. Nobody bothers you at the airport. They will see that you have made a payment. They will see the receipt and you can go through into the country. But on the 8th day, after arriving in Nigeria, you are required to go to the center that you chose to do the test. And all the centers that are posted on the portal are legitimate centers for you to do the test. If you have a cousin or a brother who is a medical doctor somewhere in a hospital and they tell you that you can do your test there, that test is not going to be recognized because the QR code that you took from here, when you give it to a test center that is recognized by the Nigerian Center for Disease Control, they can immediately see that you made your payment, regardless of what center you go to. As long as that center is recognized by the Nigerian Center for Disease Control, they will be able to see that you have paid because the Nigerian Center for Disease Control has synchronized their database. Now, when you have finished holidaying, vacationing, doing business, or whatever it is you want to do in Nigeria, you are required again 72 hours prior to leaving the country to go and do a test, a COVID-19 test, and test negative. And that center will give you another permanent QR code that you will use to exit Nigeria. If you get a receipt from a hospital that is not recognized, you will not be allowed to fly. There are some people who will come to you at the airport and they'll tell you that they can give you a receipt showing that you have paid. You paid them 20,000 or 30,000 naira. By the time you get to your boarding point, you will not be able to board because the airline is going to scan that receipt for authenticity. So when you have a legitimate receipt that has a legitimate QR code, legitimate barcode, you'll be allowed to board the flight leaving Nigeria. Coming to the United States, for instance, it is not required that you show that receipt when you get here because the US does not require it. But there are so many other countries that might require that you take a test prior to entering their country, or you take a test after you have entered the country. The British government, for instance, is doing that. Before you exit Britain or before entering Britain, you will pay a sum of £210. That is what is required for you to do 2 tests. When you come back from travel outside Britain, you must do 2 tests. That is, you will quarantine for 10 days, and within that 10 days, you are required to do a test on the 2nd day and do another test on the 8th day. Matter of fact, it is while you are going through the process of quarantine, the money you pay, 210, they will send you 2 kits with which you will have to take your sample by yourself and mail it to them. They will have to ensure that you are negative for COVID-19 before you can join the rest of society to socialize with them. Now, one question that people have asked me a lot of recently is, what does the vaccine, taking the vaccine, have to do with all this? What effect is taking the vaccine? What effect does it have on your travel plans to and outside Nigeria? And I'll tell you, nothing. There's no requirement that you have to have taken the vaccine before you can get on the plane to Nigeria. At least not right now. If it is something that is going to happen, it is in the future. We don't know anything about that yet, but when that happens, I'll let you know. So thank you so very much. I hope this update has been helpful. Subscribe to our channel so that we can keep you updated with information regarding travel and any other thing that is necessary for our existence in the 2 countries, the 2 continents, come to our attention. So thank you so much. It's been nice talking to you. I hope this is helpful. And again, I'll see you when I see you. Thank you.